Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, answers by citing the Lord's version. We'll read verse 37. Translate. Etan matam samatishta paramena samadhina bhavan kalpata kalpeshu na vimuyati karichit. Translation. O Brahma, just follow this conclusion by fixed concentration of mind, and no pride will disturb you, neither in the partial nor in the final devastation. Okay. Let's read. I'll read part of the purport. As in the Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter, the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, has summarized the whole text in 4 verses, namely, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, etc. So the complete Srimad Bhagavatam has also been summarized in 4 verses as Aham Evasam Eva Gray, etc. Thus, the secret purpose of the most important Bhagavat conclusion has been explained by the original speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam, who was also the original speaker of Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. There are many grammarians and non-devotee material wranglers who have tried to present false interpretations of these 4 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. But the Lord himself advised Brahma not to be deviated from the fixed conclusion the Lord had taught him. The Lord was the teacher of the nucleus of Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 verses, and Brahma was the receiver of the knowledge. Misinterpretation of the word aham by the word jugglery of the impersonalist should not disturb the mind of the strict followers of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the text of the personality of Godhead and his unalloyed devotees. And any outsider should have no access to this confidential literature of devotional service. But unfortunately, the impersonalist, who has no relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sometimes tries to interpret Srimad Bhagavatam by his poor fund of knowledge in grammar and dry speculation. Therefore the Lord warns Brahma, and through Brahma all future devotees of the Lord in the disciplic succession of Brahma, that one should never be misled by the conclusion of the so-called grammarians or by other men with a poor fund of knowledge But one must always fix the mind properly via the parampara system. It's okay, you're managing. That's pretty good.
I don't speak very well, but I can understand very well.
Okay.
You have a good English knowledge.
Je parle lentement, mais je sais que c'est difficile, un peu, ou beaucoup.
It's because you have a nice English knowledge.
Hare Krishna. Parce que je parle lentement. Wait, okay. Okay, let's just say a few words. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyachade Jatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakapatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Pascal, you know, to say you know would be to say or vous savez. Okay. You know, for many years, beaucoup des ans, what would you say? I gave classes in Russia. And what we do, I speak one sentence, and the translator then translates, and it goes back and forth, and I think it's easier than trying to do avec vitesse. You know? What do you think? We can do it like that. Pas de problème pour moi. Ouais. Okay. Right. So let's do it like that. So you can just speak, you know, after I'll speak a sentence and then you'll translate. And then, right. So we mentioned yesterday how the last four verses are the essence of the Bhagavatam. Right. And that in Bhagavad Gita, there's also a set of four verses which are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, and as long as people get the message in the correct way, then it's not so hard to understand. Yeah. The problem is when people give their speculations. And instead of Bhagavad Gita as it is, we get Bhagavad Gita as I think it is. Just my opinion. But what is my opinion? Particularly if someone is just born in ignorance, then what is their opinion? It's useless. Just, yeah. So anyway, in Bhagavad Gita, let us just mention how Krishna explains the same message. Yeah, in chapter 10, verse 8, Lord Krishna says, I am the source of everything. And everything emanates from me. And the wise people who understand this nicely, therefore they worship me, Krishna says, with all their hearts. So that's the first step. Then the second, in chapter 10, verse 9, Lord Krishna explains how the devotees get together and they discuss these things. And by discussing these things, as they have heard them properly from the authorities, they have amazing, wonderful discussions and a mood of real love for the Lord and for each other develops in their hearts. So in this way, they help each other. And they enrich each other's understanding. Then in the next verse, which is chapter 10, verse 10, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Krishna explains that when the devotees engage wholeheartedly in his service, and they worship him with love, then he gives the understanding by which they can come to him. How to say la miséricorde, say la miséricorde, dear Krishna. Yes, that he helps the devotees. And so we don't have to worry, because by Krishna's mercy, everything becomes clear. And then when the devotees worship him like that, Krishna says, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Then in the last verse, the fourth verse, which is chapter 10, verse 11, Krishna says, not only do I give the understanding, but I also remove all the karma and all the karmic reactions which the person has built up over many lifetimes. Ah, yes. And in this way, the devotee easily comes to Krishna. So this is just really wonderful process which is based on two things. The first thing is that the devotee appreciates Krishna. That Krishna is helping me in so many ways. Krishna, first thing, Krishna gave me this body. And with this body, I can do so many things. But of course, the best thing to do with this body is to use it in Krishna's service. Therefore, the devotee develops gratitude for Krishna. And when you develop gratitude, then real gratitude includes wanting to reciprocate. That Krishna has done so much for me, I must do something for him. And therefore the devotee engages in service. And therefore the devotee glorifies Krishna, particularly by chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when the devotee glorifies Krishna, Krishna appreciates. Krishna thinks, oh, my devotee is happy with me. I must do more for him or her. So it goes back and forth between the devotee and Krishna. Of course, we are little parts of Krishna. So we have certain aspects of Krishna's nature. Krishna likes to be glorified. And because we're parts of Krishna, we like to be glorified. Oui, c'est vrai, oui. Vraiment. Yeah. If we say, like, you know, Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, he sings for us. He sings nicely, right? Look, he appreciates, he's smiling. It's only natural. Yes, so as the devotee understands Krishna's doing this for me, Krishna's doing that for me, then the devotee feels that, wow, Krishna, merci beaucoup. How to say, vous êtes très gentil, is that correct? You're very kind. Vous êtes très gentil. Sure. So what can I do for you? So that's the first thing, is that appreciation, gratitude, and reciprocation. And then gradually that develops into love. L'amour, right? Yeah, and when there's love, when there's real love, then nothing can stop the relationship. even if there are some problems and challenges, if there's real love, the relationship will go on.
Même s'il y a quelques obstacles, quelques défis, l'amour va continuer.
But the problem with these speculators who will not just accept what Krishna says,
Mais le problème avec ces spéculateurs qui ne vont pas accepter ce que Krishna a dit,
the problem, one of the problems, is they're very proud.
un de ces problèmes, c'est qu'ils sont très très fiers.
What's proud and
Fiers.
fear? Okay. Beaucoup de fear.
Beaucoup de fierté. We can say fier, but the word to say fierté.
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 Yes.
Okay. Right. You know, Lord Krishna says that I can tolerate when my devotees make mistakes.
Krishna dit, je peux tolérer quand mes dévots font des erreurs.
Because we all make mistakes.
Parce que nous pouvons toujours faire des erreurs.
You know, there are four characteristics of the materially conditioned soul.
Donc il y a quatre caractéristiques
We have imperfect senses. We become illusioned.
Nous sommes illusionnés.
Even sometimes we may cheat a little,
Même quelquefois moins.
but then we make mistakes.
On fait des erreurs.
So Krishna says, I can tolerate if my devotee just makes a foolish mistake.
Donc on peut tolérer même si mon dévot fait
But Krishna says, I cannot tolerate pride.
Donc Krishna dit, je ne peux pas tolérer la fierté.
Because what does pride mean?
Pourquoi? Parce que que veut dire la fierté?
Pride means Krishna has given me so many things,
Donc on peut dire que Krishna veut tellement de choses.
but I think they're my things.
Et donc je pense que ce sont mes pensées.
Krishna is giving us, what do you say, intelligence. Oui. Non, nous pensons que c'est what? Moi. Intelligence, c'est moi. Haribo, moi. So, yes, this Krishna does not appreciate.
Donc cela Krishna ne l'apprécie pas.
Prabhupada told, well, there's a little story about this.
Une petite histoire à propos de ça.
One man was fixing the roof of his house.
Donc quelqu'un qui est en train de fixer donc les toits de sa maison.
And what happened? He slipped
Il s'est endormi.
and he's sliding down the roof.
Il a glissé sur le toit.
And he's going to slide off the roof.
Il est tombé du toit.
And it will be a serious problem.
Donc ça va pas se faire.
But as he is sliding,
Et comme il est en train de glisser,
he calls out, God, help!
il a crié Krishna, aide, aide-moi.
And as he goes over the edge,
Et donc il est arrivé sur le côté.
there's a big nail sticking out,
Donc il y a un objet qui fait
and it catches his
ça
clothes,
va frapper ses vêtements, accrochés.
and his life is saved.
Sa vie était sauvée.
And he does not think that, wow, God arranged for that nail to be there.
Et il n'a pas pensé que ce projet était apporté par Krishna.
But rather he thinks, oh, I'm glad I put that nail there.
Donc il a pensé que j'ai mis ce projet ici.
Prabhupada told a story.
On va raconter une histoire.
Devotee is trying to find parking in the center of the city.
Donc
he has important appointment.
Il avait un rendez-vous très important.
If he is late, it will be a problem.
Et s'il était en retard, ça serait un problème.
So he drives around the block. You understand the block?
Donc là, c'est le bloc.
The area.
Il a pris le bâtiment.
And he's a devotee.
Et lui, c'est un dévot.
So he prays, Krishna, help me to find a parking place.
Donc il a prié à Seigneur, aide-moi à trouver un parking.
No parking place.
Il n'y avait pas de parking.
He drives around again.
Il a tourné encore un peu.
Krishna, help me to find a parking place.
Aide-moi à trouver une place pour une station.
No parking place.
Il n'y a pas de parking.
What do you say? 13e fois.
Deuxième fois,
Yeah. Around again. Krishna, help me to find a parking place.
Krishna, aide-moi à trouver une place pour parking.
No parking place.
Il n'y a toujours pas de parking.
Fourth time.
Quatrième fois,
Krishna, help.
Krishna, aide-moi.
Suddenly there's a parking place.
Et soudainement, il y avait une place de parking.
And he thinks, oh,
Et il a pensé,
I'm glad I found a parking place.
j'ai pensé, je comprends pas, j'ai trouvé une place de parking.
And there are many stories like this,
Il y a beaucoup d'histoires comme ça.
where even a devotee may fail to recognize that Krishna is helping.
Donc même un dévot, donc il peut penser que c'est Krishna, mais il ne peut pas penser que c'est Krishna.
So this mood of appreciation of what Krishna is doing for us, very important part of Krishna consciousness.
Donc c'est cet état d'esprit que c'est Krishna qui fait pour nous, donc c'est une partie très importante de la concentration.
And if we develop that mood, then it will be easier for us, it'll be easy for us to develop our relationship with Krishna.
Et donc si nous développons cet état d'esprit, ça va être plus facile pour nous de développer notre relation avec Krishna.
Yes, so like we said, Krishna explains that pride is one of the big obstacles.
Donc Krishna a expliqué que la fierté est un des plus grands obstacles.
Yes, and there's an example which is given.
Il y a un exemple qui est donné.
That is when Krishna left the gopis in the rasa
C'est
dance.
quand Krishna a laissé, a quitté les gopis dans la danse rasa.
You know that story?
Vous connaissez cette histoire?
Krishna was dancing with the gopis,
Krishna est en train de danser avec les gopis.
and everyone was very happy.
Tout le monde était vraiment content.
But then the gopis, well, Krishna made it appear that he was dancing with each gopi individually and not the others.
Et donc il apparaissait que Krishna était en train de danser donc avec individuellement avec chaque gopie et pas avec les autres.
So the gopis became a little proud.
Et donc les gopis étaient devenus un peu fiers.
He is dancing with me,
Il est en train de danser seulement avec eux.
but he is not dancing with her.
Et il ne danse pas avec eux.
Aha, I am special. So because that pride arose, Krishna suddenly left the gopis.
Et donc comme cette fierté est apparue, Krishna a disparu soudainement.
And then when he left the gopis, oh, they became very upset.
Et donc comme il avait quitté les gopis, donc elles étaient donc très déçues.
Krishna actually left them and went away with Radharani.
Et donc il les a laissées, il est parti avec Radharani.
So now he's walking with Radharani,
Donc maintenant il est en train de marcher avec Radharani.
and Radharani, in a very relaxed way, she said, "Could you carry me, please?"
Et donc il est parti vers Radharani, et d'une façon très paisible, donc Radharani lui demandait, est-ce que tu peux me porter?
I'm feeling a little tired,
Je me sens un peu fatigué.
un peu fatigué. And Krishna said, "Sure, put your arm around my neck and I'll pick you up."
Donc Krishna lui dit, bien sûr, Mets ton bras autour de mon cou et je vais te porter.
And I'll carry you.
Je vais te porter.
So Radharani put her arm around Krishna's neck,
Radharani donc a mis son bras autour du cou de Krishna.
comme ça. And Krishna was not there.
Et Krishna n'était pas là.
Because Radharani was feeling a little proud.
Parce que Radharani était un petit peu fière.
Yes. So anyway, we should not think that Radharani or the gopis, they really become proud.
Nous ne devons pas penser que Radharani et les gopis sont tellement fiers.
Like we become proud.
Comme nous sommes fiers.
Like, maybe sometimes we go distributing Prabhupada's books
Comme quelquefois nous allons distribuer les livres de chaque Prabhupada.
and we distribute one book
Et on distribue un livre.
and we think,
Et on va penser, oh,
I don't know how to say it, I am a very cool person. Bien, intelligent. Yes. But actually, so we become proud very easily. Très facile. Even we just do little something, we become proud. But then Krishna may do something to teach us a lesson. Vous parlez anglais? Like, what was it? The night before last at the Rath Yatra, once the deities came off the chariot and onto the altar, then I did an offering, like a food offering to the deities. And at the end I thought, well, maybe I could have a little of the Mahaprasadam. Très bon idée. So I asked, they gave me some. And then I was eating some. And I got one nice looking laddu. You know laddu? You know laddu? Yeah, okay. Very tasty, what you say, le goût supérieur. Anyway. And I thought, so I picked up this laddu and I looked at it. I thought, well, this is going to taste good. And I took a bite. I took one bite. And you know what I found out? Whoever made it made a mistake. You heard about that? Oh. They put salt instead of sugar. Wrong. Same amount, but it's salt. And salt is much stronger tasting than sugar. Wow. And it was horrible. Horrible. Really, it was bad. So that sort of thing happens if we become proud. Krishna teaches us a lesson. Leçon. Très bien. One time, one famous story. There was one devotee in America, in Portland, Oregon. And he was very good cook. But he would tend to become proud when the devotees would appreciate his cooking.
Et donc il avait tendance à devenir fier quand les dévots appréciaient sa cuisine.
So one day he cooked some very nice halava.
Donc un jour, il cuisinait de très bons halava.
Il pense. He was thinking,
Donc il pensait qu'il avait cuisiné
il what pensait. You know halava? So what he would usually do, he would cook, and then the prasadam would go out, and devotees would be eating, and he would come and ask them, how is it? How's the prasadam?
Donc il avait l'habitude de cuisiner, donc de présenter aux dévots, et il venait demander aux dévots comment c'était.
And the devotees would say, very nice.
Et les dévots disaient c'était très bon.
And he'd become proud.
Et il devenait fier.
So this day he made this nice halava.
Et ce fois, il avait fait ce très bon halava.
Il pensait.
Il pensait.
Right. So now out comes the halava. There's like 30 devotees there waiting.
Et donc il y avait ce beau halava, il y avait environ 30 dévots qui attendaient.
First devotee takes one mouthful, you know,
Et donc le premier dévot prend une bouchée.
and suddenly there's a look of shock.
Et donc soudainement, il y avait un choc.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? And just pop, he spat it out. Because the cook had put salt instead of sugar.
Parce qu'il y avait du sel, sucre.
They couldn't eat it at all.
Ils ne pouvaient pas le manger du tout.
So they decided to feed it to the local dogs.
Donc ils ont décidé de le donner aux chiens.
Comme ici, beaucoup des chiens. Is that right? Beaucoup des chiens à la nuit. So they tried to feed it to the dogs. The dogs came and sniffed it.
Le chien était venu,
You know? And the dogs walked away. So then they fed it to a few of the local trees.
aux arbres dans les parages.
One of the trees died. So you have to beware of pride because it's like poison. And therefore, in Krishna consciousness, we emphasize, Lord Chaitanya emphasized humility. Yeah, humility means, who am I? I'm practically nobody. I'm kind of like a useless person. I was with Krishna in the spiritual world, but somehow or other I fell into the material world. And I've been trying to enjoy independently for years and lifetimes. But I have been failing to enjoy. But still, if I do one little thing successfully, then I think, oh yes, look, it's me, I'm clever. But actually it's Krishna who gives us some intelligence. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the ability in a person. So this, to avoid pride and cultivate humility, is one of the most important parts of Krishna consciousness.
Et donc pour éviter l'abstraction et développer l'unité, ça c'est une partie très importante de la conscience de Krishna.
But these people who speculate on Bhagavad Gita and will not accept what Krishna says, they lack this humility.
Et donc ces gens qui spéculent et qui ne sont pas la Krishna, donc ils ont ce manque d'humilité.
And as a result, they just remain in material life, lifetime after lifetime.
Et le résultat, c'est qu'ils vont rester dans ce monde matériel vie après vie.
Yeah, so we have to learn to avoid these speculators.
Et donc on doit éviter ce genre de spéculation.
You know, there was one man, his name was Dr. Radhakrishna,
Il y avait un homme, son nom c'était Radhakrishna, Dr. Radhakrishna.
and he was a politician,
Et c'était un politicien.
but he was also a philosopher.
Et c'était également donc un philosophe.
And he wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita.
Et il a écrit un commentaire sur la Bhagavatam.
And where Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Dis sweet, sois en six,"
Et donc quand Krishna écrit dans la Bhagavatam 18.6,
you know what Krishna says.
vous savez ce que Krishna a dit,
Dis sweet, sois en six.
18.6,
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
abandonne la toute forme de religion.
Huh?
Abandonne la forme de religion.
Okay, yeah. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma shuchaha. We should just give up all other forms of religion, just surrender to Krishna.
On doit abandonner toute forme de religion, juste s'abandonner à Krishna.
Then Krishna says, then I will deliver you from all your karmic reactions.
Et je te délivrerai de toutes tes réactions karmiques.
Do not fear.
N'aie pas peur.
So that man, he wrote that, in his commentary on that verse, he wrote, it is not to the person Krishna who we should surrender,
Et donc, ce commentateur, ce qu'il a écrit, il a dit que ce n'est pas à Krishna qu'on doit s'abandonner.
but it is the unborn, eternal nature within Krishna.
Et c'est donc c'est le nouveau-né dans la nature qui est à l'intérieur de Krishna.
And you know what happened to him?
Et vous savez ce qui s'est passé?
He had a stroke,
Donc, il a eu une crise,
like an insult, what you see,
une crise,
like a heart attack.
et une crise.
Yeah. And he lost the ability to speak.
Il a perdu l'aptitude de parler.
Couldn't speak.
Il ne pouvait plus parler.
And Prabhupada said it was because he insulted Krishna like that.
Et c'est parce que, donc, Srimad Prabhupada disait que la raison c'est parce qu'il a insulté Krishna ainsi.
Parce que Krishna est une personne sensitive.
Pourquoi? Parce que Krishna c'est une personne sensible.
Yes, he's a person like us.
C'est une personne comme nous.
We are sensitive people.
Nous sommes des personnes sensibles.
Just like with Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, you know, he was appreciating, being appreciated.
Comme Prabhu tout à l'heure, il apprécie d'être apprécié.
So if someone criticizes you,
Donc si quelqu'un vous critique,
oh, you feel hurt.
donc vous vous sentez blessé.
So why is it that on one hand we like to be appreciated, on the other hand we don't like to be criticized?
Donc pourquoi d'une façon on aime être apprécié et d'une autre façon on n'aime pas être critiqué?
It is because we're parts of Krishna and he feels like that.
C'est parce que nous sommes une partie de Krishna et lui-même ressent les choses ainsi.
Therefore it's very important that we really follow like the authorized line in Krishna consciousness.
Donc c'est pour ça que c'est très important de suivre la ligne cyclique de la conscience
And maintain a very humble state of mind.
et de maintenir vraiment un état d'esprit d'humilité.
Yeah, because, you know, one time one devotee said to Prabhupada,
Donc une fois, il y a un dévot qui a dit à Prabhupada,
He was trying to act like he's humble.
Il essayait d'agir comme s'il était humble.
And he said to Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, I am the lowest.
Donc il a dit à Srila Prabhupada, je suis le plus bas, le plus défait.
I am the worst.
Je suis le pire.
Prabhupada said, he said, I am the most fallen.
Il a dit, je suis le plus défait.
Prabhupada said, actually, you are not the most anything.
Srila Prabhupada a dit, vous êtes le plus rien du tout.
You're insignificant.
Vous êtes juste insignifiant.
Because to be the most fallen, that's very difficult.
Pourquoi? Parce qu'être le plus déchu, ça c'est très difficile.
Because there's so many people who are so incredibly fallen.
Parce qu'il y a des gens qui sont tellement incroyablement déchus.
Par exemple, Hiranyakashipu, we cannot compete with him as far as being fallen is concerned.
Donc, par exemple, Hiranyakashipu, on ne peut pas faire une compétition avec lui parce que...
So Prabhupada said, you're just insignificant, just sort of like nobody.
Vous êtes juste insignifiant, comme dit Srila Prabhupada.
So if we chant nicely, attentively, then we can get some realization of our real position.
Et donc si nous chantons correctement, attentivement, nous pouvons avoir une réalisation de notre propre, de nous-mêmes.
Attentivement. Oui. Yeah. Krishna, being pleased by our glorifying him, will give us understanding.
Donc Krishna, il sera content quand nous allons le glorifier et il va nous donner la compréhension.
And then we'll actually understand, yes, what am I?
Et donc nous pouvons comprendre réellement qui je suis, nous sommes.
Je suis stupide.
Je suis stupide.
But Krishna is very kind.
Et Krishna est très gentil.
And if I try nicely, he will help me.
Et si j'essaie de correctement, il va m'aider.
And then, even though I am like premier class, do you say? First premier class stupid, Krishna will give me intelligence and I can do so many nice things.
Donc même si je suis le stupide de première classe, Krishna pourra nous donner l'aptitude pour avancer.
As long as we understand it's Krishna helping me to do these things.
Et si longtemps que nous allons comprendre que c'est Krishna qui nous donne la facilité pour faire ces choses.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. How to say, I don't know how to say. Are there any questions? Question? S'il vous plaît. Ou commentary? Any comments, questions? Huh?
I just in confirmation. Krishna says, "I am the." He gives intelligence because.
I'm the.
He gives intelligence because he explained also in Bhagavad Gita, Buddhi Yoga.
Buddhi Yoga, yeah. Buddhi.
So you can perhaps add something to explain, Maharaj.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Well, yeah, Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Dadami. Dadami means I give. Try to say Srimad play. Right, does Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I give a type of intelligence which produces yoga. Yoga means to make a link with the Lord. Yes, so if the devotee serves him sincerely, Krishna gives that kind of intelligence.
Donc si le dévot sert sincèrement, et bien Krishna il donne ce type
if someone has a different type of attitude towards Krishna, Krishna will give a different type of intelligence.
Et donc, si donc, on développe différents types d'attitudes vis-à-vis de Krishna, Krishna va donner différents types d'intelligence.
There's an interesting example, I don't know if you'll get it.
Il y a différents exemples, je ne sais pas si vous l'avez compris.
Where down in the New York, you know, the metro, the underground, someone wrote a big sign, God is dead, signed Nietzsche.
Donc dans le métro à New York, il y avait quelqu'un qui avait écrit Dieu est mort.
Signed Nietzsche, you heard of Nietzsche? Philosopher.
Donc le philosophe, ça s'appelle Nietzsche.
And he made that slogan, God is dead.
Il a été slogan, Dieu est mort.
God is dead, signed Nietzsche. Then later Nietzsche died.
Et donc plus tard, Nietzsche, il est mort.
And someone wrote right next to that,
Quelqu'un a écrit juste à côté.
Nietzsche is dead, signed God. Vous comprenez? Ouais. Yeah. So, yeah, people will be given different types of intelligence depending on their different attitudes, particularly towards Krishna.
Donc Krishna va donner une intelligence dans une différentes attitudes.
So for those, Krishna says, for those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me. Right. So, but if someone has a different type of consciousness, attitude, they'll get a different type of intelligence. If they are atheistic, if that is their attitude, then they will get intelligence to come up with very clever ideas which apparently show there's no God.
Ils vont avoir des attitudes et des commentaires assez clairs qui vont faire paraître comme si il n'y a pas Dieu.
Right. And they'll think, I have proved God doesn't exist.
Et là, ils vont penser que j'ai prouvé que Dieu n'existe pas.
But unfortunately, it's just a type of stupidity.
Et malheureusement, c'est un type de stupidité.
Right. So therefore, as devotees, in order to get the best type of intelligence, we have to engage in service.
Et donc, en tant que dévot, pour développer ce genre d'attitude, on doit s'engager dans le service.
And we have to really try to please the Lord.
Et on doit essayer vraiment de plaire au Seigneur.
And then Krishna will give us intelligence to understand Him very easily.
Et ainsi, Krishna va nous donner l'intelligence pour comprendre plus facilement.
You know, the other day we told the famous story of Narada and the cobbler.
Donc, il y a quelques temps, on avait parlé d'une fameuse histoire de Narada et Krishna.
You know that story.
Vous connaissez cette histoire?
You don't know it.
Vous ne savez pas?
Where have you been?
Qu'est-ce que vous avez fait?
That's such a famous story.
Une histoire très connue.
Narada Muni, famous devotee, he's going to visit the Lord in the spiritual world.
Le Narada Muni, donc ce grand dévot, est parti visiter donc, le Seigneur dans le monde spirituel.
He's on his way, he meets a cobbler. You understand cobbler? A person who fixes shoes.
Donc il est sur le chemin, donc il y avait un cordonnier.
But this cobbler was very sincere devotee.
Et ce cordonnier était un très sincère cordonnier.
He's fixing the shoes, but he's chanting all the time.
Donc il sûr, mais il chantait le marmot surtout.
chanting Hare Krishna. And he said to Narada Muni, you're going to see the Lord. Could you ask him, will I ever go back to Godhead? So Narada said, sure, I'll ask. So then Narada went on and he met one very proud Brahmin, like big intellectual scholar. And the big scholar said, if you're going to visit the Lord, could you ask him, when am I going back to Godhead? Because I know I'm extremely qualified. It'll probably be very soon. But there's a few things I want to finish up before I go, so I'd like to know when. And Narada said, okay, I'll ask. So Narada went and he asked the Lord. And the Lord said, you know that cobbler, he's such a humble devotee. He's going to come to me at the end of this life. But that Brahmin scholar, he's so proud that even though I am God, even I don't know when or if he's going to go back to Godhead.
Le Seigneur a dit pour le Brahman, même si je suis Dieu, je ne sais pas quand ce Brahman va venir ici.
And Narada was a little surprised.
Et Narada était un peu surpris.
And the Lord said, if you want to understand why I've said this, then when you meet these people, tell them that when you were with me, I was busy putting an elephant through the eye of a needle.
Vous allez voir ces personnes-là. Vous allez dire aux personnes-là que j'étais occupé à essayer de mettre un éléphant à travers le chat d'une aiguille.
And see how they react.
Et voyez comment ils vont réagir.
Then you'll understand.
Et là, vous comprenez.
So first of all, he went back and met that Brahmin intellectual.
Et donc, premièrement, il est allé voir ce Brahman, cette intellectuel.
And the man said, yes, when am I going back to Godhead? Will it be, this afternoon or maybe tomorrow?
Et donc, je pensais que je vais me retourner donc à Dieu, que c'est peut-être cet après-midi ou bien ce soir.
And Narada said, when I asked the Lord, he told me that even though he's God, even he doesn't know when you're going back to Godhead.
Et vous savez ce que le Seigneur m'a répondu? Il dit, même si je suis Dieu, je ne sais pas quand c'est qu'il va retourner vers le ciel.
And the man said, no, that's impossible.
Le Brahman a dit, non, ça c'est impossible.
Because I'm just so incredibly qualified.
Parce que je suis tellement incroyablement qualifié.
And Narada said, well, look, let me tell you one thing.
Et donc, Narada a dit, vous savez, laissez-moi vous dire une chose.
When I was with the Lord, he was busy putting an elephant through the eye of a needle.
Quand j'étais avec le Seigneur, il était occupé à essayer de mettre un éléphant dans le chat d'une aiguille.
What do you think of that?
Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de ça?
And the man said, what? That's ridiculous. It's impossible.
Et le Brahman a dit, mais c'est quoi ça? C'est ridicule, c'est impossible.
Get out.
Sors de là.
So then Narada went to visit the cobbler
Et donc ensuite, Narada était voir le cordonnier.
and told him that, the Lord said you'll come back to him at the end of this life.
Et donc il a dit que le Seigneur vous a dit qu'à la fin de sa vie, vous allez retourner vers lui.
And the cobbler, of course, was very happy.
Et bien sûr, le cordonnier était très heureux.
But then Narada said, just one thing, when I was with the Lord, he was putting an elephant through the eye of a needle.
Et donc, vous savez, quand j'étais là-bas, le Seigneur était occupé Il était en train d'essayer de mettre un éléphant à travers le chat d'une église.
What do you think of that?
Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de ça?
And the cobbler said, wow, that's great, that's wonderful.
Et le cordonnier a pensé, il a dit, oh, mais ça c'est grand, c'est merveilleux.
And Lala said, you believe that?
Et Jalal a dit, mais vous croyez en ça?
And the cobbler said, sure, why not?
Et le cordonnier a dit, bien sûr, mais pourquoi pas?
And he was sitting under a banyan tree.
Il était assis sous un arbre, un banyan.
He picked up like a seed pod, if you understand, like a nut of a banyan tree, which has many, many seeds in it.
Donc il a pris donc, le fruit d'un banyan dans lequel on a plus de petites graines.
You understand? Comprend? And he said, look, my Lord is so expert. He has put hundreds of banyan trees into this little seed pod.
Donc vous avez vu comment mon Seigneur est tellement expert qu'il a mis autant de graines dans ce petit fruit.
Each one of these little seeds will grow into a huge tree, much bigger than an elephant.
Et donc ce petit ça va donner des arbres aussi grands, beaucoup plus grands que l'éléphant.
So to put an elephant through the eye of a needle, for him, that's nothing.
Donc mettre un éléphant dans le chat d'une aiguille, ça c'est rien pour lui.
Pas de problème. So you see, he actually understood.
Donc vous voyez, il a actuellement compris.
Because of his humility as a devotee, he was able to understand actually that the Lord can put an elephant through the eye of a needle.
Par rapport à sa capacité, par rapport à son humilité, donc il avait compris que le Seigneur était capable de mettre un éléphant dans le chat d'une aiguille.
And what is it? Cependant.
Cependant, ou alors,
Alors.
donc,
Krishna donne intelligence. He gives the intelligence according to the state of mind.
et donc Krishna donne l'intelligence par rapport à notre état d'esprit.
And if we're in a humble mood of being a devotee, he'll give us all sorts of intelligence.
Et donc si nous sommes dans un état d'esprit d'humilité, il va nous donner toutes sortes d'intelligence.
Devotee asked Prabhupada, do you know everything?
Les dévots ont demandé à Cher Prabhupada, est-ce que vous connaissez tout?
Prabhupada answered, no, I don't know everything.
Prabhupada a répondu, non, je ne connais pas tout.
But Prabhupada said, but Krishna does, and he tells me.
Mais Cher Prabhupada a répondu, Krishna, il sait, et il me l'a dit.
Yes. So therefore, for a devotee can know anything that they want.
Donc pour un dévot, il peut connaître tout ce qu'il veut, ça va.
By the mercy of the Lord,
Par la miséricorde du Seigneur,
par la miséricorde de Krishna.
la miséricorde de Krishna.
Haribol.
Alléluia.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, Deva. Say two. Aujourd'hui. And yeah, okay. Oh, sorry.
One last question.
Oh, wait.
It's possible. You were mentioning earlier that we don't like to be criticized because we have the same nature as Krishna.
Right.
But then also Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he says that we have to become equipoised and have equanimity both in honor and dishonor.
Yes.
So how do you reconcile that? Getting a nature. I mean, it's natural to feel bad when one is dishonored, but at the same time we have to not feel bad.
Okay, traduisez.
Donc, Prabhu, il disait que le dévot, il n'aime pas être critiqué, mais dans la Bhagavad Gita, on apprend également qu'on doit apprendre à être dans l'équanimité, ne pas être affecté par les joies et les peines. Hein? Et donc, comment on doit gérer ça?
Okay. Yes, right. So the thing is that we, how to say, the thing is that in order to progress spiritually, we have to cultivate. The thing is that Krishna, he is also sensitive, but Krishna is also very tolerant.
Le fait est que Krishna, il est très sensible, mais il est également très tolérant.
It is not that he's simply sensitive, but he has no tolerance. So the thing is, Krishna is sensitive to he appreciates the service of the devotees. But he tolerates the mistakes of the devotees. So he has both qualities. Yeah. Not that he's simply sensitive and not that he's simply tolerant. But of course he knows how to apply both those qualities. He knows how to be sensitive to the devotees and how to tolerate sometimes the foolishness of the devotees. So we have to learn how to apply these things. That if someone criticizes us, we shouldn't worry about it too much. Did anyone ever criticize any of you? Edith? Anyone? Oui? Une fois? Oui, je sais. It happens. So yes, when people criticize us, at least materialistic people, when they're criticized, they feel very bad. But when a devotee is criticized, then the devotee understands this is a reaction for my having criticized someone in the past. So therefore, it's my fault that I'm being criticized. So I should learn from it and not just get emotional. And the devotee, oftentimes when the devotee is criticized, and the devotee understands it's because I did bad in the past, then the devotee thinks that you, the other person, you're criticizing me for being bad, but you don't know how bad I am. I'm much worse than what you're saying. So therefore the devotee doesn't react. Yeah. Devotee knows I deserve it. Devotee knows that Krishna is teaching me a lesson. So therefore the devotee is able to deal with these situations nicely. If the spiritual master or one of the senior devotees makes some criticism, the devotee feels that, oh, I must learn from this.
Le dévot doit penser, oh, je dois apprendre de cela.
So it's an educational experience.
C'est une éducation, une expérience d'éducation.
Prabhupada once was criticized by a spiritual master.
Il n'y a pas de critiqué par un maître spirituel.
You know that story.
Vous connaissez cette histoire.
Very interesting little story. Prabhupada was at a program being given by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, his spiritual master. Prabhupada was sitting at the back, and there was one old man sitting next to him who could not hear properly. And so every minute he would turn to Prabhupada and ask, what did he say? And Prabhupada would explain, he said this. But it was just happening, repeatedly. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta became unhappy about it. And so he said to Prabhupada, would you like to come and sit here and speak? Where he is speaking in front of like 100 devotees. And everyone's looking at Prabhupada. What are you doing? So it was a very embarrassing situation. But Prabhupada said that he felt very grateful for that. Because it was a correction to improve him. And Prabhupada said that as time went on, he would regularly remember that. And he would think, I got the mercy through being corrected. He didn't think, I got embarrassed. I was trying to help the old man. Yeah. So like that, for a devotee, criticism generally does not really hurt, but the devotee takes it as a learning experience. Because Krishna does the same thing too. Krishna had a spiritual master. And his spiritual master would sometimes correct him. And Krishna did not say, listen, don't speak to me like that. Listen, I am God. So you don't speak to me like that. Krishna accepted it as a humble disciple. So, there are different aspects to these points about Krishna's nature and our nature. Is that okay? Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
How can I tell to my son that he's not a girl without criticizing him? How can I react? Because every day he says, I am a girl,
Okay.
I am a girl.
Well, okay, try to say.
Donc, comment je pourrais dire à mon fils qu'il n'est pas une fille? Parce que tous les jours, il dit que je suis une fille, je suis une fille.
C'est une intéressante question. But the thing is, the principle is that in this age, Kali Yuga, there's so much confusion amongst many, many people of who am I, what am I.
Et donc, vous savez, dans ce monde, surtout dans cette page, il y a tellement de confusion pour savoir qui je suis, qui vous êtes.
And some people, they have a particular gender of body, but actually in their sort of emotions and their psychology, they're more of the other gender.
Donc, vous savez, il y a des personnes qui ont une sorte ayant un corps, mais dans la mentalité, dans la tête, l'état d'esprit, ils ont plutôt un autre type de forme.
Like we have one quite good friend in England,
Comme on a donc un très bon ami
and bon ami, yeah, pas mal ami, Boy George.
Yes.
You know Boy George?
Oui.
He's very nice,
Oui, très bien.
and he likes Hare Krishna. Oh yeah.
Il est très bien, il aime Hare Krishna.
But he's not sure. He thinks he's more of a girl.
Il n'est pas sûr, il pense plus qu'il est une fille.
And even he's had some debates with some of our devotees.
Et donc il y a quelques débats donc, avec les dévots.
And as far as he's concerned, he's more of a girl than a boy.
Et donc aussi, on voit que ça fait ça, et donc il est plus une fille qu'un garçon.
So, you know, at least, I mean, I'm not an expert on like gender psychology,
Donc je ne suis pas vraiment expert en la matière.
but what I've read, they generally advise don't get too much into sort of contradicting how a person feels that they are.
Donc il ne faut pas trop tomber dans la contradiction pour voir comment la personne est vraiment.
There's another one, famous person, you heard of Cher, Cher, the singer? Her daughter had a gender change operation.
Et donc sa fille avait donc une opération pour changer de sexe.
So Cher is also, you know, she's something of a devotee.
Donc Cher également une sorte de défaut.
Yeah. But, you know, so now the, whatever daughter I think is a son, and c'est la vie. But I mean, all you can do is try to sort of encourage without being sort of oppressive.
Donc il ne faut pas que ça tombe dans l'oppression.
If you become oppressive about it, then, you know, it may have bad reactions.
Donc sinon ça peut engendrer de mauvaises réactions.
And yeah, because you've got to sort of let people be how they can function the best.
Donc il faut laisser les gens pour savoir comment ils peuvent fonctionner dans la meilleure façon.
I don't know, I mean, that's a type of an answer.
Donc ça c'est un type de réponse.
This is your son? Okay. Garçon, comment t'appelles-tu? Comment t'appelles? Est-ce que un nom? Ok, Haribol.
Nirvana.
Ah,
Nirvana. Nirvana.
Nia?
Nirvana.
Ok. Hare Krishna. Bon garçon. Okay,
Okay.
I think that's it for the time being. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Haribol.
This is on good one.
Yes.
So we start to meet again at 5:30. Guest